Szóval Balázs, hallasz?
Jó reggelt, igen. Köszönöm. El is kezdjük, egy pillanat. Okay. So, good morning everyone. I think it's time to start our event. My name is Balázs Borkovic and I work at the University of Pécs and I'm responsible for the coordination of this GreenAURA project and today's conference. We are aware that in these days everyone attends plenty of online webinars, conferences, courses. Therefore, first of all, we would like to say thank you for taking the time and joining our event. Also, we hope that you will be able to stay with us in the next bit more than 2 hours. First of all, I would like to share some technical information with you. This event will be recorded. I hope you don't mind, because as one hand, we expect that we will hear. A minute, I think. Okay, muted. So on one hand, we have to record it because we expect that we will hear some quite interesting presentations. And some of us, or maybe some new people who had no possibility now to join us, would listen them later as well. And on the other hand, this is a project and we need it for the documentation. So that's why we are recording. Another technical suggestion is that you can switch on your camera if you speak. Otherwise, maybe it's better to switch it off to have a better connection. We will provide you the time after each presentation to raise some questions. And if you have some questions, just please raise your hand with the icon or put it in the chat. And last but not least, I just want to give you a brief overview of the topic of today. This event is a conference of the GreenAURA project, as you know, and you saw it in the agenda. And this is financed by the Hungary-Croatia cooperation program. Many thanks for that. And you will hear about the details in the presentations. But in a nutshell, we can say that GreenAURA project has twofold objectives. On one hand, it is an awareness-raising initiative, as 4 partners intend to support citizens on both sides of the border in Croatia and in Hungary to learn how they can contribute to the fight against climate change in their everyday lives, what tools there are available for them. And on the other hand, we also intend to transform the innovation system a bit and involve companies, municipalities, citizens into new and ongoing research activities that can be connected to climate protection, which is the topic of this project. So we asked Professor Attila Misetta, director of our university, and Mr. András Tálos, the program manager of the funding programs joint secretariat, to welcome our guests. Afterwards, 4 partners of this cooperation will introduce their operation and goals in the project. And as you saw it in the agenda, finally, we will dedicate 1 hour to start the exchange of experiences in practical means. We have contacted some successful living labs in Europe in the past months and asked them to introduce their operation challenges, cooperation with stakeholders, which is a big challenge, I think. And we received positive replies from some of the living labs and also from Ms. Stina Eyersholt, who is the showroom coordinator of Energy and Water, the Great Copenhagen Living Lab, and who together with Mr. Jesper Steenberg, the head of the Living Lab, will present us their operation. They undertook to share their experiences with us. So in the second half of this event, we will have the possibility to learn from them. And dear Stina and dear Jesper, many thanks for accepting this invitation. So that's all from my side in a nutshell. And now I'd like to ask Professor Misetta Attila, director of our university, to welcome our speakers and guests. Thank you very much.
Well, greetings to everyone. Obviously, the all-encompassing issue of the day is the COVID pandemic, but I should say that perhaps even more important, maybe even as for the health effects concerned, is the green issue. Obviously, as for the carbon dioxide emission and other environmental issues are going, there are many concerns. And sometimes we do feel that we are sitting on a sinking ship, and in the bottom, the water level continuously rising. The efforts made by the communities, by the universities, by the different countries, and by the European Union, by themselves are obviously not enough to compensate for the changes which are occurring in other parts of the world. But it is very important to everyone to develop our environment in a more energy efficient, more green, and as well as safer and more convenient fashion, so that if we can change our immediate environment in a way which is serving us on the long term in a sustainable manner, then we made our contribution. And my understanding is that the very purpose of this GreenAURA concept is something like that. As for our university, we are constant participants in the green efforts for the past decades, and I'm not saying that we are doing enough, but we are improving, and a conference is definitely a very good place to exchange ideas about how to do even better and to come up with new ideas regarding the green issues. So I really do feel that this is important to share the ideas, to have the thoughtful discussions on the subjects. And it is also very important that if we outline the goals, the aims of the efforts which are going to happen as a result of the GreenAURA concept, then we have to have adequate numbers through which we can see the advancement of the project and evaluate the results. So on our behalf, I wish you a very good discussion, and I hope that the conference is going to be a starting point of a great effort which will make our environment cleaner, safer, and greener. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ishata Attila. Thank you for your warm welcome. We hope that our project will be a useful element of the university's green program, and we will be able to support the establishment of some cooperations among the different sectors and public actors. As I mentioned before, our project receives funding from the Hungary-Croatia cooperation program, and Mr. András Tálos is appointed to follow, check, support our activities. Therefore, it is a great pleasure that we can welcome him among us today. So András, I kindly ask you to welcome the participants and say a few words about the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I start, Balázs, just please nod or just tell me if you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me today on this opening conference. Let me give you a short overview of the Hungary-Croatia cross-border program. As you might know, there have been two calls in this Interreg 5A 2014 and 20 programming period. The first call projects are now slowly closing down, let's say fading out. For some of them, the follow-up period has already started and the follow-up reports are now just pouring in. Regarding the second call for proposals, there are 56 projects supported in the second call for proposals, out of which there are two strategic projects. One of them is the Mura Bridge planning project, and the other one is the planning of the 2021-27 programming period. The GreenAURA was one of the project proposals deemed to be supportable in the second call for proposals in the 311 component, which is the thematic cooperations components. By the way, I have to emphasize here that the interest was pretty high in this component, namely 4 times higher than the available found. So one can say that the competition was pretty high. But the reason why this GreenAURA project has been selected is pretty simple, because that was the only one aiming at using 21st century's solutions to tackle climate change in especially in urban areas. So congratulations for receiving these EU funds to be able to implement your project ideas. And by the way, having online conferences might be a better solution to reduce CO2 than organizing physical events, as Mr. Attila Miseta, director of the Pécs University, has just highlighted in his welcoming notes. So there will be no more calls in this 2014-20 period, and the reason is again very simple, because the available found and at the same time the time are running out. You might know it well, but there is this so-called M+3 rule, which means that not only the projects but also the program itself as a whole has to close down until 2023, December 31st. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit is basically the future, namely the next programming period. As you might aware, there are 5 so-called priority objectives of the Commission for the next programming period, out of which the programs has to select. Let me list these priority objectives, all 5. PO1, a smarter Europe. PO2, a greener, low-carbon Europe. So this might be one of your possible priority objectives if you want to continue this GreenAURA project in the future. PO3, more connected Europe. PO4, a more social Europe. PO5, a Europe closer to citizens. And there is let's say a bonus, an extra, and that is called Interreg specific objective. Abbreviation is ISO, which is going to aim at better Interreg governments. Regarding this Hungary and Croatia border region, namely the 2021-27 Interreg 6A program, the situation and the SWOT analysis have been both carried out. If you are interested in these documents, both are available in our official program website under the planning menu point. So you can download them and read them. The programming committee has these days pretty frequent meetings online, of course. The joint cross-border strategy is underway to be prepared. There are 5 among the above mentioned priority objectives. There are 5 possible and very favorable objectives. The first is PO1, Smarter Europe, which is going to aim at development of SMEs, fostering competitiveness, innovative business cooperation, and cross-border trade. PO2, most probably your priority objective, a greener, low-carbon Europe. An outstanding preference of environment and nature protection has been expressed, but it will also support renewable and green energy resources, mitigating climate change, low carbon border region, as well as promoting the Danube strategy. PO4, a more social Europe, which is going to aim at culture, tourism development, but also vocational education, higher education, namely cooperation between universities. So if you want to submit in the future some project proposal regarding the cooperation of universities, maybe PO4 is going to be your priority objective. But this PO4 also is going to aim at supporting sport activities. And the bonus, the Interreg specific objective, is going to be also among the objectives, which is going to aim at supporting civil and governmental cooperation, public administration, territorial governments, and people-to-people actions. By the way, according to the legislation, all of the priority objectives will be able to embrace infrastructure elements. So if you want to build something, except for the ISO, namely the Interreg specific objective, because that's going to support only soft projects. The stakeholder workshops of the selected POs, priority objective 1, 2, and 4, soon will be organized by the planners. So if you are interested in or willing to attend to these workshops, please contact the JS directly. And at the end of my short introductory speech, I have some bad news for you as well. The exact amount of the EU contribution hasn't been yet decided, but what can be already seen that the available fund will be somewhat smaller than in the previous programming periods, which means in the future that the competition can be expected even higher. The draft program documentation will be supposedly ready in the second half of this year, and then, of course, it will be submitted to the European Commission. The approval of these documents is to be expected to the beginning of 2022. This means that there will be no calls in this programming area or cross-border area till the end of 2002, but rather until the beginning of 2023. So there will be some gap in the calls, but until that time you will have a lot to do. You will have to successfully implement this GreenAURA project. So I wish you the best for its implementation, and thank you very much for your attention. And I'm very looking forward to the project results. Thank you once again, and let me give back the floor to Balázs. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and all the information about the ongoing planning process and new program. You mentioned that this project was selected because we are trying to use some new emerging technologies. Yeah, I can say this is a challenge for us as well, but this is a great objective. I can say also that we are, I think, learning by doing. We have some experiences, of course, in AR and also on the Croatian side in living labs, but we will learn a lot from this project. And I hope that, and we all hope that we will fulfill our obligations without any problems, and we will be able to create really long-lasting results to shape the mindset of citizens, to create grants for their involvement in new developments, and make cities of the border region even greener, and create some quadruple helix corporations. So thank you very much, András. Now we are moving to the second part of this conference, the presentation about the partners and our objectives. So first, it's time to share you with some content about the project and our university. So I will start this presentation. Just a minute. No, it's not that. Yeah. Okay, I hope you see it. Do you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so GreenAURA, the project name was also mentioned. It comes from the abbreviation of Green Communities with Augmented Reality Assisted Living Labs. Actually, this project was developed and is coordinated by our university. So I have to say a few words about the university first. We have a history dating back to the 14th century, and at the moment we are running 10, or okay, there are some changes at the moment, but let's say 10 faculties, 22 doctoral schools, and that means that we can involve also into this project over 20,000 students, which is a great amount. And we have also more than 4,000 international students, and we are glad that we can welcome some of them at this event as well. We have approximately 2,000 lecturers and researchers, and also dedicated places, buildings for research. Our flagship is mainly medical studies development, so there are some biomedical, but also natural and engineering sciences, and the latter one can be connected to our project, of course. And we have some project-based activities which are supported by the Directorate of Grants. Before the project, there were plenty of developments related to, let's say, climate protection. Even the development or the establishment of the research center was one of them, because it uses renewable energy, solar panels, and geothermal energy provides heating and electricity for the building. But it was back in 2012. And there are, of course, some research is ongoing, like cost-effective geothermal injection wells, or there are a lot of new developments, installing, of course, solar panels, which are quite obvious solutions nowadays, and solar collectors, and replacing the lighting to LED lighting different premises. We have other kind of researches. There are, of course, plenty of researches. I can mention only a few in this presentation, not to be too long. But at the Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology, they have some researches on raw material management, how to create less waste, for example, from composites. They are having a lot of other researches on the field of water management as well. And I can mention also two former projects of the university, which were funded by the Hungary-Croatia program, and in which we worked together with part of the current partnership. One was the vocational education 2, where we elaborated some curriculum for operating nearly zero energy buildings. And the other one, what I wanted to mention, is the EVCC project, where we intended to promote e-mobility at the city of Pécs, and we had the possibility to procure an electric vehicle and also a charging station, which was available for public as well. There were a lot of other developments, but it was obvious that somehow this kind of developments should be channeled into a system. And in 2016, the university launched its Green University program. And it's a voluntary cooperation of the employees and students. And there are some campaigns which has no cost, just the organization and time that we have to take, of course. And there are also some project-based developments, like this current project at the moment. We also joined the Green Metric University ranking system, which is a worldwide system. It was launched by the University of Indonesia in 2010, and they have defined some sectors or some aspects to analyze. So I'm jumping back a bit to this slide. They are analyzing how the university is managing, from the aspect of climate protection, its setting and infrastructure, the energy and climate, the energy management, let's say, waste management, water, transportation, and what kind of education programs they have, which can be connected to. Okay, thank you. So to create some new developments in the field of climate protection. So we joined this ranking, and we have great successes. I can show you this slide, and you see that when we joined in 2016, there were 516 competitors, universities from all over the world, and we reached the position of 355. which is not bad as a starting point. But in the next years, the number of competitors, universities increased. And in 2010, there were over 900 universities taking part in this ranking. And with a continuous development, we succeeded to reach the position of the 59th. And also, if we check the ranking by country, our university became the greenest university in Hungary, which we are really proud of. And that shows us that these kind of initiatives like GreenAURA can be successful, and they can contribute to the fight against climate change according to other evaluators as well, not just ourselves. So I would like to just show you some images about some campaigns, awareness raising of our Green University program. You see the Passive Bag Bro campaign on the left, in which we work together with Követ Association and also the Jane Goodall Foundation. We collected smartphones, mobile phones, and forwarded it to organizers to get the rare metals from the mobiles, and this way the mining areas where also gorillas live can be decreased and the ecosystem can be restored in Africa. There are of course some other campaigns connected to waste, like garbage collection or some demonstrations dressing in green and so on. Regarding transport, we had an initiative together with the city where we painted a bus with some symbols to visualize the connection between the university and the city in climate protection. This was a real part of public transport, so it was not just an exhibition or some kind of stuff like that. It was a bus going around the city. And we also have a lot of biking events. So we have some service stations for bikers. We are organizing breakfast. We are organizing promotional events to switch to riding bike. Regarding energy, we managed projects to measure the consumption, mainly electricity and heat consumption of public buildings, and install smart meters. We work together with municipalities in our region in this project, and this way we could show how much energy they use and how it can be decreased. And the team of the Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology took part in the Solar Decathlon race and achieved really good results. You see down there, where they had to energy refurbish an old-fashioned, let's say old-fashioned, it's called in Hungary Kádár cube house, to be more energy efficient. Regarding water, I can also show you some examples. We have some drinking fountains, and we don't use any plastic bottles, PET bottles in the university. And we are also organizing some planting programs with children to create some green surfaces. But it's always a question, how can we reach students? And we came to the conclusion that they should be actively involved. Probably we should give them prizes to motivate them, ask them to do simple actions, and use attractive communication tools. And on the left, you see our other project. It's called it's a Visegrad grant-funded project, We for Green Universities, in which we launched a campaign and asked students to send us maximum 1 minute long videos and show how they would do climate protection actions at our campuses differently, what ideas they have. And we will rank these videos with an international jury and award them. And the first place, the award for the first place is an electric scooter. So I think it can be quite attractive. Okay, and on the left, I put a picture about the Digitourist project, which is an Interreg project, It's about a different issue. It's about destination management in tourism areas, but supported with augmented reality. And that's how the idea came to use attractive communication tools, use augmented reality to visualize how students can change their mindset, what kind of tools they can use in the city and at our university to be more energy efficient, to save water, to collect waste in a selective way, and so on. So this is how our concept was born. First, we wanted to change people's behavior in our city. And to change it, they have to be aware of their personal possibilities, what tools are available. So you see here that we decided to create some kind of exhibition. But we need to apply some attractive means of communication to grab their attention, because we can say that there is a heavy noise. There are a lot of information nowadays, also about climate protection, and somehow we have to target them with the right communication tool. And that's when we decided to use augmented reality, which is quite catchy and fancy at the moment. And we were also thinking that the students and employees of the university live in our city. So we have to widen the scope of the project to city level. So we involve the city through the urban development company. So this way we will be able to show all the developments of the municipality, of the settlement, not just of the university. And finally, we are aware that we must learn from other cities. We are not expert in all of these activities. And on the other hand, we would like to share our results to jointly reach better results in fighting against climate change. So therefore, we have set up a cooperation from Croatian and Hungarian organizations. And as you see in the pictogram, it's gender equal. Okay, so in the map, you see the location of the partners. We have 2 partners from Koprivnica, the seat of Koprivnica, and 2 from Pécs. The University of Pécs and the Urban Development Company of Pécs are the Hungarian partners. And as we had a lot of common projects in the past with the Regional Energy Agency North, we asked them to join the project, and also the city of Koprivnica, where they are located. So the 2 target areas of the project are Koprivnica and Pécs. And at this point, the concept of living labs came into the approach, because city of Koprivnica was experienced in launching a living lab, mainly for the public lighting industry. And we saw that there are some possibilities in Croatia to widen the scope of this living lab by involving other sectors. And for our university to adapt this concept in researches, to involve the stakeholders, the citizens, the companies into researches and create some real cooperation. And this slide shows you how we would like to connect augmented reality with living labs. First of all, this is the Hungarian part of the project, that we would like to create a kind of city model display table and put some markers on it, and the visitors by their mobile phones or tablets will receive some additional information on their screens on the different parts of the city, like the renting of e-bikes, how solar panels work, what kind of green surfaces are existing or plantings in the city, so many other aspects, and also how different energy systems work. So this is the augmented reality part, and we are also connecting it to researches, because in the background we will have a database and the project website where we will collect the university researches that can be connected to climate protection. And we will put markers on these displays through which the visitors will be able to reach these researches and can test some of them. For instance, if there would be a research about permeable pavements, probably if there can be some smaller investments in the city using different materials, we can collect feedbacks from the citizens which is the most efficient one, which is slippery, which is nice, which is useful to take the rainwater. So this is the concept of involving our target groups. And in my last slides, just a few information about the project itself. We started this year in January the 1st, and we will close this project at the end of August next year. We have received approximately, so our budget is approximately 270,000 euros. And our activities, as I mentioned, we will have augmented reality supported exhibitions. I showed you the Hungarian idea, and there will be an exhibition also in Croatia, but our Croatian friends will define diverse locations and use a bit different approach. We intend to organize webinars with at least 6 living labs, and the first one will take place at the second part of this conference. And of course, as this is an awareness-raising event, we will organize plenty of events when this travel ban and the pandemic will be hopefully over soon. So 2 conferences, this is the first one, 8 living lab workshops for higher education institutions, companies, municipalities, and civil organizations to create some connections among them. And also some awareness-raising events for wider public. All these events will be organized in both sides of the border. And these awareness-raising events will present our augmented reality supported exhibition and also give some information how they can be involved into researches through the living lab. We also have some studies to deliver about AR technologies and living lab cooperation models. And finally, we would like to set up our living lab and work together with the Croatian living lab. Our indicator is to reach 2,000 citizens. And last but not least, I just wanted to show you a statistic of today's attendees. I created it when there were some 60 registered attendees. Now there are some more, but you can see that we are quite balanced because it's a cross-border project between Hungary and Croatia. And we could also, of course, involve the speakers from Denmark. Many thanks for that. And also spread a bit our concept through our foreign students to other countries. And the other chart or graph shows you that it is very important for us to involve different sectors. And of course, we are now the organizers of this event, so higher education is a bit overrepresented. But we could reach some civil associations, some companies, energy agencies, of course, like our partner, the Regional Energy Agency North, but not just them, but there are some others. Also a living lab and some employees of some local municipalities. So the attendance is quite diverse, and this can be considered as a success for us already. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, just ask. You can ask now, you can ask also later on. Or if you have no questions, we can continue with the next presentation with Mr. Zvonimir Perko, who is the project manager of Energy Agency North, and who will present their role. We have a long common history with the agency. We worked together in several energy-related projects in the past decade, and the agency is very experienced professional actor, I can say, in supporting municipalities and other stakeholders in energy management tasks, and both on strategic and on practical investment level. So we are very happy that we can welcome their board, their team on board. So Zvonimir, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Balázs. Hope that everyone can hear me well. Should I share my content or you will share it?
Yes, please. If you can share.
Okay. Hope you can see my presentation now.
Yes, thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is, as already Balázs said, my name is Zvonimir Perko. I'm a project manager from Regional Energy Agency North from city of Koprivnica, Croatia. Today I will present you our agency as one of the partners on project GreenAURA. Brief information about us. We are established in 2009 and have about 12 years of experience in energetics. We are founded by Executive Agency for Competitiveness and Innovation and 3 cities, city of Varaždin, Virovitica and Koprivnica, through Intelligent Energy Europe program. Right now we have 9 employees covering several different areas from civil engineering, electrical and telecommunication engineering, ecology, economy, management, tourism, etc. I would like to highlight that our main role is support to local and regional governments, SMEs, citizens both in rural and urban areas with focus on renewable energy sources, energy efficiency and rational usage of energy. Also to all interested stakeholders, we provide expert support in the implementation of ambitious sustainable development plans. Furthermore, RIA North supports the Covenant of Mayors and is a member of the European Association of Regions and Energy Agencies called FEDEREN, and a member of Energy Cities and the Croatian Green Building Council. Our mission is to use different tools to promote renewable energy sources, energy efficiency and rational usage of energy in a way of leading and supporting all stakeholders in implementation of projects aiming at sustainable development. And our vision is to be, or better say, to remain one of the key stakeholders in creation and implementation of the sustainable energy system in Croatia. We are experts in different fields, such as energy and climate planning, project feasibility studies, sustainable construction and energy renovation, public lighting, procurement of innovation and green public procurement, innovative solutions, sustainable mobility, and application of different financing models of, for energy efficiency and renewable energy projects, etc. About our work is quite diverse. Here I will show you just a few examples of our references. We have developed more than 20 sustainable development plans, such as SEAP and SECAPs. Also some local and regional energy efficiency action plans. We are successfully managed and still managing unified public procurement of electricity from renewable energy sources, but also procurement, unified procurement of natural gas for all of it for almost 150 public procurers. Also, we are leading projects of installation of PV systems for private and public persons, but also giving free advice and basic support to encourage our citizens in implementation of such systems in their households. Furthermore, we are working on development, management and provision of technical assistance in projects of complete renovation of public lighting based on energy performance contracts. Also, we established first Croatian living lab in the field of public lighting and smart city solutions. I will talk about it later. Also, we are managing energy renovation projects of different buildings. We have managing public procurement of innovations for reconstruction of one kindergarten in Koprivnica. We are doing measurements and verifications of performance in power systems. Also, we are doing thermal imaging and reporting in the building sector. Also, we are dealing with energy management for more than 200 public buildings, but also defining smart metering system and building energy management. We are also doing projects related to sustainable mobility, planning of e-mobility infrastructure, planning of sustainable urban logistics, feasibility studies, etc. Here you can see electric vehicle that we purchased through one EU project, and that Balázs also previously mentioned, and we use it for promotion of e-mobility and even test driving for all interested citizens. I have selected some of EU projects that we were leading or supporting as beneficiaries. Projects are from different programs such as Horizon 2020, Interreg Europe, Central Europe, Mediterranean, cross-border cooperation, Erasmus Plus, and so on. Projects are related to energy and climate sustainable planning, development and establishment of a revolving fund for public administration, energy renovation of public buildings, energy poverty and social housing, procurement of innovation, e-mobility, green public procurement, even education and training projects, even some geothermal projects and so on. From our recognitions, we are very proud of project Prominent Med from Mediterranean program, where we, together with the city of Koprivnica, managed the public procurement of innovation for reconstruction of one kindergarten. For that, we received few awards on national and EU level. Since the GreenAURA project aims to expand the existing living lab, I will only briefly describe the basic information about our existing living lab in Koprivnica. In Living Lab Koprivnica, we merge companies that offer technology solutions, different scientific and research institutions that are able to develop new projects together with some economy institutions. Also, we are including citizens as end users and public institutions that by using high technology can gain some new experiences. Right now we have 24 test fields in city with 149 lighting points where different vendors and manufacturers are testing their solutions. To connect smart city solutions with management systems in Living Lab, we have also two types of low energy communication technologies, LoRa wide area network and Sigfox. Here's our current partners on the project that are currently testing their solutions in our city. The aim of the establishment of the first Croatian Living Lab is creating an environment where partners will have the conditions to test, compare and promote their products, and users can try and evaluate their products in the real environment. About our aims in GreenAURA, we want to expand our existing living lab with AR solutions and show the city of Koprivnica as a green and energy efficient city. We want to spread AR technology through whole city and encourage citizens to actively participate in. AR solution is conceived as a study tour through the city, and I think it is a very powerful tool to improve citizens' knowledge of energy efficient solutions in some kind of interactive and interesting way. This would be done by setting up installations or some kind of models at key locations in the city where energy efficiency solutions are or maybe are not present. Of course, in this project, besides citizens, we want to involve public authorities, of course, cities, research institutions such as universities and companies that would improve our solution. We are very glad to be part of GreenAURA consortium, and we are looking forward to conducting this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zvonimir. Thank you. Are there any questions to the presentation of Zvonimir? Because I have one, if there are no others. You mentioned that in your Living Lab approach, higher education is also involved. So how could you involve them? Are there any researches that you could somehow channel into the Living Lab operation, or what practical experiences you have on this field?
Well, we would like to include our University North in Koprivnica and of course, University North in Varaždin. This is the same university. They have a subject, they have a course about AR and VR solutions. So we think that we could learn a lot from them, and we could include them in even in our Living Lab events, even in our workshops. I think they could transfer a lot of knowledge, not only to us, even to you, to Hungarian side, even to our citizens.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you don't have any questions, you can just anytime raise your hand. If you have some questions, we are trying to check it all the time. But if you don't have any questions, now we stay on the Croatian side of the border, and Ms. Maja Balaško-Kiš will tell us a few words about their city, Koprivnica, and their role in the project. This municipality is also experienced in energy projects, and they won several international awards for the sustainable and smart development activities. So we are really happy to welcome Koprivnica with its bit more than 30,000 inhabitants in this project. They are the Croatian target area for us. So Maja, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Balázs. It is nice to see you all, even in this online form. I will now put my presentation. I hope you see it.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Just a second. So for an introduction, I will briefly introduce you to the city of Koprivnica as a partner in this project. Koprivnica has almost 31,000 inhabitants, and the best description of Koprivnica would be a small town with a high quality of life. Great efforts are being made to raise the quality of life, so Koprivnica is a very pleasant place to live. It is known as a city of bicycles. We even have an open-air bicycle museum. It is also known as a center of naive art due to proximity of Hlebine, where naive art originated. Koprivnica is also a university city. University North is founded by the city of Koprivnica and the city of Varaždin in 2012. Only in Koprivnica today we have 10 different studies and about 1,000 students. When we talk about sustainable and smart development, city of Koprivnica is a winner of several awards in this for its progress in these fields, and here I named some of them. In 2013, we received the Energy Award for achievement in energy efficiency. In 2015, we received Energy Globe Award, the most prestigious award for the projects in the field of environment protection, energy efficiency and sustainable development. We received it for the program The Bold New Face of Koprivnica. In 2017 and 2020, we received National Smart City Award in a category of medium-sized cities. This achievement is based on an independent assessment and specially developed methodology for determining the level of smart cities. And I would like to state some of the reasons why the city of Koprivnica won this award. For example, it has the largest share of the city budget intended for grants for ICT companies, startups and innovations in a category of medium-sized cities. It has the largest number of higher educational programs in the field of ICT. Then it has the highest rate of separately collected waste in category of medium-sized cities. And there are a lot more criteria to win this award. In 2019, we received the Eco City Award for the efforts in the field of environment protection and energy efficiency. Later, you will see the examples of good practice in this field. It is known that the city of Koprivnica is prone to innovation in direction of sustainable development and has been active in the field of energy and climate for many years with the aim of mitigating and adapting to climate change. There are a number of implemented projects that support this fact, and it is good to mention that the city is a member of Southeast European Network for Sustainable Mobility, CIVINET, and also is a signatory to the Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. Regarding the specific policy documents, we would like to highlight two documents. One is Sustainable Energy and Climate Action Plan, another is Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan. The city of Koprivnica continuously raises citizens' awareness of the risk and impact of climate change and the possibilities of adapting to climate change by organizing public events for citizens, encouraging sustainable construction, promoting the use of clean fuel vehicles, and introducing the public transport. So here are some examples of good practice, projects that contribute to environment and climate protection. City of Koprivnica, as a pioneer of electromobility in Croatia, established the first car sharing system with electric vehicles at the level of the city and the city companies. And the intention of this system is to show citizens the readiness for change and the importance of using clean fuel vehicles. City has also provided the public infrastructure for charging electric vehicles to enable citizens to switch to clean fuels. Public urban transport uses 100% of clean fuels, and it is provided by 2 electric minibuses. We also have one of the first public bike sharing systems in Croatia, 60 conventional and 10 electric bicycles, and 8 stations across the city. Also, we are very proud of 70 kilometers of bicycle paths across the city. We recognize the increase of energy efficiency in the housing sector as an adjustment measure of the greatest importance because it directly affects the comfort of citizens. The city is also committed to the application of green technologies and the establishment of green infrastructure in different sectors. The construction of the new recycling yard and the fact that inhabitants of Koprivnica separate and separately collect more than 55% of generated waste certainly contribute to this. The city especially emphasizes the establishment of a living lab that already was mentioned a few times during this event. So I would now like to tell a few words about GreenAURA in Koprivnica. Our project budget in this project is 41,500 euros. And main motives for participation in this project were to enhance the institutional capacity and raise the efficiency by initiating the concept of living labs that will create solid cooperation networks among the quadruple helix actors and promote the cooperation possibilities between citizens, public and research institutions. Also, our aim is to introduce new technologies and smart city solutions in educational process of citizens and increase their awareness about environment protection, climate change and energy efficiency. Here is the list of project activities that Koprivnica will deal within this project. Here are some horizontal topics like project administration, management and information and publicity, but also we will actively participate in analysis of business models of living labs in Europe, in implementation of our pilot project, developing Croatian Green Living Lab with EAR support. We will also organize Green Living Lab events, strengthening cooperation between citizens and public institutions, and will be actively involved in the design and implementation of cross-border strategy for living lab cooperations. And finally, here are some information about AR concept in the city of Koprivnica, but Zvonimir already mentioned what are our intention. Generally, we want to expand the existing living lab and present the city of Koprivnica as a green and energy efficient city. So we would like to develop some efficient study tour, and our intention is also to prepare the content that would be interested for children. So we will try to insert some animations, animated characters, questionnaires for children, and possibility to collect some points, so they could be able to receive some award after they finish the whole study tour successfully. This would be all from my side. We are very happy to participate in these projects, and we are looking forward to implementing these project activities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Maya, for the great presentation. First, again, I would like to ask if any of the participants have any questions to Maya. You can have some, we are in time. But I would also like to ask one, you mentioned some great investments, and you also make many efforts to create some logical pathways, some strategies for these investments, like developing sustainable energy and climate action plans or sustainable urban mobility plans. And you also mentioned that you involve the citizens by promoting these developments for them at plenty of events. But I wanted to ask if you have also some experiences in involving citizens for testing or commenting these new developments, so for the planning process. And what do you think? Is it manageable? Is it possible to motivate citizens to be a part of this process?
The most of these awareness raising activities are done through our different EU-funded projects. And we really hope that we will be able to influence on them with this project as well. Regarding the preparation of documents, Well, we are trying to involve them as much as possible, and
yeah, sorry, I know it's a tricky question because it's not easy to involve citizens. So maybe this project will create some ground for it. We can maybe create some processes for it, because it's a question at all the cities, not just in Koprivnica. I think, how can citizens be involved into this participative planning?
It is very hard, but we are trying step by step. By each project, we are preparing some programs, some workshops. So we hope that this would be done also successfully in this project.
Okay, thank you very much. So now it's time to present the Hungarian target area of the project, Pécs, a city with approximately 140,000 inhabitants. And we were really happy to involve the urban development company of Pécs, because developments are managed by their team, so they are aware of all the information of existing or planned investments that we need to visualize in GreenAURA. So their activities will be introduced by Mr. Bálint Tasnádi, the project manager of Pécs Urban Development Company. So Bálint, the floor is yours. Please present your activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Balázs. I hope everybody can see me. So as Balázs said, I am project manager from Urban Development Company of Pécs, and I try to give some interesting information about our company in the next 15 minutes. And now I try share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So our company was established in 2010 by the municipality of the city of Pécs, and our former organization and part of our colleagues were responsible for the European Capital of Culture program and the related management tasks there. So currently our company is responsible for the city's all EUs and investment projects. We make the planning, the management, and the maintenance also of these projects. Also, we keep the contact and cooperate with the partner organizations. So we have good relations, all of most important stakeholders in the region, and with some international institutes too. So we are a fully non-profit organization, which is 100% owned by the municipality of Pécs, and we have currently 18 employees. So the PUD has a strong management team with economists, lawyers, engineers, and urban development experts. So you can see here our all project topics. We have more than 80 projects in this time. Like, for example, energetic project, waste management projects, or what is really important is the rainwater drainage management projects and the reconstruction of green surfaces, etc. So, sorry, I go back. So we have, as I said earlier, we have relevant experiences in international EU projects. We did in the last 10 years a lot of international projects, and we have still a couple currently too. So our most important international projects are the following. So I present some. So this is the cross-border bike project within the confines of the Hungary-Croatia IPA cross-border cooperation program. We have implemented between 2015 2015 and 2018 the cross-border bike project. The project aimed to sustainable management and environmental protection of the region through upgrading the existing network of cyclotourism. The total budget more than €1 million, and the part of the PUD, so our part was almost €90,000. So the second one was the two region to sustain. In this project, that was in the confines of Interreg Hungary-Croatia cooperational program. And the overall aim of this project was to strengthen the cross-border capacity of waste management organizations, in particular for the bio-waste management. The period of this, the implementation of this project was from 2017 until 2018. The total budget from the project was around €300,000. And part of the PUD was €30,000. It's a 10%. So the next one, this is our newest international project. Currently, we do the implementation of this one, of a live project. This 8-year project aims to solve one of the most significant environmental problems, improving unfavorable air quality in 10 Hungarian municipalities. In this project, the PUD, so our company, and the municipality of Pécs are also partners. The period of the implementation is from 2019 until 2026, and the overall budget is almost €16 million. It's a quite big budget, and our part, or the PUD's part, is €150,000. Yeah, and the municipality has also almost €1 million from this project. So the next step, our former project. Yeah, in the past, the municipality of Pécs has several environmental protection, energetic modernization, and eco-friendly traffic investments. So by all of these projects, the PUD was the former was the management organization. And let's check it, the most interesting projects from this topic. So the first one, that was the construction of an e-bike system in Pécs, with the elements like the e-bikes, the charging stations, good smartphone application, and the relevant homepage also. So the implementation was a little bit more than 1 year, and the whole budget was €580,000. So the next one is a public solar power plant project. That was exactly the installation of the solar power plant in Pécs, in Tüskésrét. It was implemented in 3 steps between 2008 and 2020. The whole budget was almost €2.5 million for this project. So the next one is the Mecek Drava Waste Management Program. I think that was almost the biggest waste management program here, or of the municipality. The aim of the main object of this project was to change the fundamentals of the current waste disposal practices. Within the confines of this project, the older landfills have closed or renewed, and the new landfills have created in the way to meet the corresponding guidelines. The project ran from 2008 until 2014, and the total budget was almost €15 million. So And the municipality of City of Pécs has several other actual projects also, so under implementation, which have connections with the GreenAURA. The most interesting project in this regard, I think the followings. I will show 5 projects or development packages. So the first one is the energetic renovation projects for school, kindergartens, and medical centers. So these projects or these development packages are optimizing the energy efficiency of the buildings of these institutes. Ultimately, will be realized of the renovation of 18 kindergartens, 5 schools, and 6 medical centers. You can see that the total budget is around 19 million euro. So the second one from this term is the modernization of the rainwater drainage system in Pécs. And these projects aim to the renovation of the important parts of the rainwater drainage system of Pécs. So ultimately, will be modernized 3 streams, these 3 most important streams in Pécs, and the 6 biggest part of the main deep drainage system of rainwater. So the next one is the reconstruction and creation of green surfaces on the public areas of Pécs. Within the confines of this project, we are creating new green surfaces on the utilized public areas of Pécs, and we are reconstructing some already existing too. It will be realized together 9 new or renewed green public areas in Pécs. Yeah, the whole budget of this development package is around 10 million euro. So the next one is the construction of new bicycle roads. So these projects aim to construction of new bicycle roads in Pécs between the parts of the city. Thereby, we try to encouraging the bike usage of the citizens. Ultimately, will be realized here 6 new bicycle roads and a new sustainable mobility plan for Pécs. The total budget is 7.5 million euro from the whole development package. So, and our last, or I think one of the most important investigation page, that was a procurement of 10 urban low-floor solo buses with electric drive. The procurement contained also the installation of the related charging infrastructure and the hall for the buses, and that was around 5 million euro, the whole procurement package. So the PUD, we are responsible for a part of the communication and dissemination tasks in the project, and we are going to get some promotional tools also related in the project. We do the management under the implementation also, and the financial tasks from our side. And furthermore, we will organize some public and project events also, like the AR supported energy efficiency events in Pécs, 2 events from this one, and 2 project meetings too also. So the teams of our members is I am one from our teams, and the other person is Zsolt Brambauer. He can't be here now, unfortunately, but he is the project coordinator director at the company, and he will be the project leader in the GreenAURA project. So thank you for your attention. If you have more questions or informations, then can you here find our email addresses and phone numbers also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Balint. Also, thanks for all the speakers for keeping the time limits. I think, yeah, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Balint?
Yes,
okay,
I do. Yes, I do. Maybe this question goes not only for Balint, but for you, Balázs, as well. I don't know, among the project that has been listed by Balint, I haven't seen, but maybe there has been, but maybe I couldn't just see. Whether do you have, or are you planning to have any kind of projects towards, because you know that today's meeting is about GreenAURA, it's about tackling climate change and involving citizens. And as far as I know, in Pécs, it's pretty, sometimes when it's very hard, very heavy rain and the so-called flash floods, it's a pretty heavy phenomena. So do you have, or are you planning to have any kind of projects, let it be financed in any other sources, aiming at these so-called flash flood situations? You know, when a lot of rain comes down in a very short period of time, because, you know, I don't know about you in Pécs, but in Budapest, for example, it hasn't been raining heavily for a month now. It's pretty dry here, and it might happen that within a couple of hours, even an amount of a monthly precipitation comes down. And in Pécs, you know, from Mecsek here, you have plenty of these heavy situations, and how to drain it, what to do with it, how to keep it, how to use it for further purposes when there is no rain again. So thank you.
Thank you. From the side of the university, I can tell that there are some ongoing researches. There are some dedicated researchers at the Faculty of Sciences. They have some models for that, and designing some solutions how to use this kind of rainwater. And as I know, there is an ongoing live project, but I think Balint will be competent to reply from the side of the city whether there are some project on this issue.
Yeah, I tried to reply. So I talked about the rainwater drainage system renovation project. This is so against the flash floods. So because the streams which we will modernize in this project, this is the streams which come down from the Mecsek. So exactly, this is already project or a development package against the flash floods.
Okay, any other questions? Not see any. I also would like to pose just one, the same as I did at EMAYA. So does Pécs have any experiences in involving citizens and in channeling their ideas into new developments? But now I dare to ask it because I know that at least there was one at Misina, which is on the top of our Mecsek hill, where a restaurant was partly demolished and the city was looking for a new function. So Balint, just if you can tell some words, how you involve citizens and their ideas into developments.
So this is a project from my colleague. I can't maybe telling really good, but this is a project that was so the top of our city is the Misina. This is a peak behind our city, and there is an old building which had no function in the, I think, in the last 30 years. And then that was really competition between the citizens. If anybody has a good idea to the renovation, to the reconstruction of this building, everybody everybody can say or share their own idea. And now is it 3 idea was accepted or choose from, I think, 52 ideas, and then in the next months we will decide which idea from these three will be implemented.
Okay, so there are some experiences. Thank you very much. And now we arrive to the second part of our conference, the presentation of a successful living lab, which is very important because we can learn from this part also a lot. Actually, we didn't talk about this term living lab too much before this event, and it will be, I think, up to our colleagues from Denmark to define it. But just to give a rough definition, maybe we can say, as it is mentioned like this in a lot of documents, that this living lab is actually a research concept, so it's a process, and it's user-centered, which is very important, an open innovation system, and usually, as I think it's the situation in Copenhagen as well, that it is connected to territorial areas, so it has some territorial context. So that's just all that I wanted to add to this topic. We, as I mentioned before, we are very happy that Mr. Jesper Steenberg and Ms. Stine Eiersholt gave us some positive feedback to present their living lab, and I just hope that my pronunciation was more or less fine. Please correct me. Thank you, great. And I will give you the floor, and you can use this time as you wish. Just another technical information that our Croatian friends, mainly the Regional Energy Agency North, is more experienced in living labs than us. So that's why I've asked Mr. Ivan Šimić, the director of the agency, to support us in the moderation of this part. And of course, so all the attendees can still post some questions by raising hands, by putting in the chat. We will check the chat. But thank you very much, Ivan, for supporting us in this conversation. And now, Jesper and Stina, as you wish, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And first of all, I am very happy to have the chance to present Energy and Water Greater Copenhagen Living Lab at the GreenAURA conference. I hope that the presentation of our educational and collaborative living lab will make you consider how you define your own living lab, because the definition of living labs are wide. My name is Jesper Steenberg, and I've been head of energy and water since it started in 1999. That means in the last millennium. I'm also head of innovation in a small cross-administrative unit within the city of Copenhagen called the Environmental Educational Services. And it's a cross-administrative unit between the administration of environment and the administration of education. And the purpose of this environmental educational services is to build partnerships with real-world partners within the sector of environment, and that is from large utility companies to small NGOs. And that is also the reason why I have to introduce the environmental education services. It is because it is one of the two partners that constitutes the Energy and Water Greater Copenhagen Living Lab. Now I will start with a short presentation. I can see it takes it some time. Here it comes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Perfect. First of all, welcome to Energy and Water, Greater Copenhagen Living Lab online. This is the first time we've done it, so it will be very interesting. Fundamentally, Energy and Water Greater Copenhagen Living Lab constitutes of 4 different centers. We have our Science Center for children and youth. We have our showroom where we have a showroom for the sustainable city and utility. And then we have our collaboratorium where we involve citizens in and design solutions together with them. And then we have our, and then we have our knowledge center, which has a focus on research and knowledge collection and knowledge sharing. But let's first take a look at the agenda for today. I'll begin by presenting what is energy and water. Then we have a small video that will explain how we see ourselves as a living lab, and we will come with one of the best examples that we have that can showcase one of our living lab activities. It is a geographical information system built co-design platform that we actually won a prize for. When we're finished that, we'll take the first session of question and answers. And then I will get back to how we succeeded in becoming a living lab and how we found our ways to get a sustainable economy, because that's not that easy as such. But now let's look at why on earth we exist. Our mission is basically to connect city stakeholders through pedagogical tools in order to create sustainable cities. And we do that by providing engaging, factual, relevant education, showcasing, involvement, co-design and knowledge sharing of sustainable city solutions within certain areas, climate adaptation, energy and water supply, and education in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for the sustainable city and utility. Basically, our target group is all stakeholders, from children and youth to groups of citizens to professionals to politicians, both national and international. We have about 20 to 25,000 visitors every year out here. And we have 2 fields of operation. One has to do with the physical city solutions within utility, and the other have to do with education and sustainable education. But let's start from the beginning. I'll start by telling you a bottom-up story of how we became a living lab for the sustainable city. And later, I will tell you the story of how we top-down became a living lab for the sustainable city. Because I actually believe that the only reason we exist today is because the bottom-up story and the top-down story actually became one story in the end. Energy and water started in 1999 as a science center. It was the first science center within the environmental educational services as a partnership with Greater Copenhagen Utility, which is the largest utility in Greater Copenhagen. It provides services for more than 1 million people in this area. We grew all this time, and in 2014 something interesting happened. Copenhagen won the European Green Capital Award, and Energy and Water was asked to play a large role in this, and we made exhibitions in Brussels. Sharon Copenhagen Brussels made event with the commissioners, but we also received 23,000 people out here for the first time, and 3,000 of them was adults, and moreover more than 2,000 of them was international guests. And we got an extremely good feedback on all the models we have out here, even though the models was designed for children age 12 to 14. After 2014, many national and international guests continued to come to Copenhagen and to Energy and Water to get the story of how we transformed Copenhagen to become a sustainable and livable city at the same time. And since the Greater Copenhagen Utility didn't want to have more visitors, then the idea for the showroom came, and we established a showroom. 2014 was also the year where we got the idea to make a collaboratorium, and that was due to the fact that the city of Copenhagen decided to solve the problem with cloudbursts management, not only underground as in tubes as normal, but also on the surface. And whenever you start to do water management on the surface, you have to involve the citizens to find the right solutions, because they are involved when it's on the surface. Now you know the story of our science center, collaboratorium and showroom, but maybe we should dive a bit deeper into it. What we do in our science center is that we offer educational classes for all school students in Greater Copenhagen. We have a special focus out here. We have a focus on factfulness and understanding scale. And we do that because we believe it is extremely important to understand scale in order to understand the role of utility in securing a sustainable development. Moreover, we have a focus on science, technology, engineering, and math, since we also believe that we cannot solve the climate crisis we are in without technological innovations. And lastly, and that's something I don't believe other places, I've never heard of other places doing it, what we do is we take political environmental plans, and then we convert them to hands-on, interactive, tangible learning environments, which we call utility workshops. Our showroom, in our showroom, we of course showcase the sustainable city solutions that has to do with energy and CO2 neutrality, water, climate adaptation, and education. We also take people on tours and hold conferences. But what we try to do the most is actually to be quite honest about how Copenhagen is succeeding and not succeeding in reaching its goal of, for instance, being the first carbon neutral city in the world. What works, what doesn't work, and why? Our collaboratorium is built around a visualization lab that helps citizens get involved in and co-design local climate adaptation solutions. I'll not get much into this because that will be the case that we're going to show you on the video in just a few minutes. The Knowledge Center, that's where we attach our research. We are not a research institution ourselves, but we attach researchers from different universities within a greater Copenhagen area and also from Aalborg, which is 300 kilometers away from here, because they are best in certain areas. We do that and we focus on making knowledge creation, but also knowledge dissemination. And we consider that as extremely important for us. Our Knowledge Center is always involved in our Living Lab activities together with either the Science Center, the showroom, or the collaboratorium. But now let's look at some examples of what actual Living Lab activities that we have made. Within the area of education, we have together with all utility companies in Greater Copenhagen, there are 5 of them. We have created an online website that can be used by schools to book educational programs on utility. We have together with the city of Copenhagen and many relevant educational institutions, also universities, developed a draft for a new climate education in the city of Copenhagen. In terms of showcasing, we have together with other Living Labs tested an augmented reality solution for showing possible futures for road beds, how they would look on roads. I could imagine that would be a bit like what you have done here. Then we have together with several other Living Labs, both on the Swedish and the Danish side of Øresund, which is a sea that divides us. We have developed a platform for showcasing climate adaptation solutions there. Then in terms of participatory processes, we have together with schools developed method for involving schools and institutions that have to be climate adapted for real. And we have used some of the same methods where we together with the city of Copenhagen and Greater Copenhagen Utility and the house owner associations have developed a GIS-based platform for citizen involvement. And this is the case I'm going to show you now. If you go into the chat, I very much hope that you'll be able to see this link. And I'll not show the video here because then the bandwidth is not large enough and you'll not be able to see the video in a good enough quality. So I hope that you'll be able to see the video there. It will take you about a quarter of an hour. And after that, we'll get back to the first question and answer session. Am I back now?
Yeah, we see you.
Yes, good. Then please enter the
Yes, I think we can all see it in the chat.
Okay, good. Then please start it.
Thank you.
Okay, am I back?
Yes, you are back.
I'm back. Perfect.
Yes.
Good. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I might have one, if you don't mind. Let's say I'm half happy and half sad that you also have in Copenhagen some problem with the water. As I have earlier mentioned in page, they have this flash flood issue. And did I understand it correctly from this short movie that basically what you're aiming at is some kind of because as far as I know, what in page what they are thinking as a solution is kind of leading it away instead of retaining it somehow. Is it so? What's the problem in Copenhagen with the water? And are you also thinking of how to lead it away or how to retain it and use it for other purposes like watering and such things?
Yes. Rasmus, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then you can answer that one.
Sure. In Copenhagen, the main focus on climate adaptation is leading the water away. We don't have an overall decrease in rain, so we don't need the water necessarily. So the largest problem is all the damage it's causing. So the main objective is leading it away. But now we see a rise in solutions that retain the water for later use.
Okay, thank you.
More questions?
I would first like to ask the Balázs to stop sharing the Danish screen because we see each other in multiple times. So Balázs, please intervene.
Yeah, well, Jesper can also stop sharing, I think.
Yeah, I think Jesper, you can share your slideshow again instead. Okay.
Yeah, that was a great.
Instead, yeah. I would, as I was pointed as a kind of moderator, and since we begin only 2 years ago, maybe a fast flashback or fast rewind to 1999 when you started. Was it a top-down initiative, bottom-up initiative? Who was the initiator? How did you start? Because obviously we are in the very beginnings. We do have obviously certain components in place, but what was it like in the beginning?
It was very chaotic in the beginning, and it was running from one project to another. It was trying to get funding. And then at a certain time, we had built what would I call it? I would call it a sustainable business model within the area of the science center, within the area of the collaboratorium, within the area of the showroom, and on top of that, suddenly we started to see that universities, and we see that there was a need to have a large focus on the educational and collaborative technologies to involve citizens, and then we could get funding for that. But we would not be able to start from scratch if we did not have something to build on. So that's what I mean by that we started bottom up. But then in 4 minutes, I'll get back and present what happened top down, because then the city of Copenhagen started to show interest, and that is when they saw we had some facilities, and we had some buildings, and we had some sustainable business models, and then they could add just a little, or we could apply for some funding, some EU funding, some national funding, and we could actually work from that on.
Thanks for this. Balázs, join, please, because I have further questions, of course.
Yeah, thank you very much. So as we saw, there are several living labs in Copenhagen, and I guess that there are some overlapping issues in some kind of investments or maybe water treatment. How do you cooperate with them? Do you have some regular I don't know, meetings, or is it project-based? Or if you involve some stakeholders, how do you define whose role will be which part? Thank you.
You're really answering the dangerous questions. First of all, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If I go through the first two ones, I'll answer that question, and it's maybe better for me to answer it that way. Is that okay?
Yeah, maybe you can go through the
Okay.
your second presentation, and then we will have a question and answer for
entire because
landscape.
I can tell that I'll answer some of the questions through the presentation.
Okay.
Why did we succeed? To be very honest, there's only one. No, there are several reasons why we exist today, and the first one is that there's a real problem, and the real problem is that 70% of the population will live in cities. So if we don't make cities sustainable, then we will not solve the problem of having a sustainable world. And luckily in Copenhagen, the politicians take it very, very seriously. They simply want to be in front of defining what is a sustainable city, and they want to be a showroom for sustainable city solutions. And then we, as our bottom-up thing, said we can help with that. So that was one of the reasons why bottom-up and top-down met. Moreover, all the politicians, all actors to participate in solving the problem. Also the utility company. And since the city of Copenhagen owns 70% of the greater Copenhagen utility, and energy and water has a strong backbone in the city of Copenhagen due to its foundation in the environmental educational services. We also have an influence on what the city wants from the municipality, no, from the utility company, and at the same time, the municipality has a strong influence on the city of Copenhagen because they are the ones with the technical knowledge, and moreover, they are the ones responsible for solving a lot of the problems. And sometimes solving those problems, then you have to change the local regulation to find new ways to design the city. And in order to do that, you might have the interest in working together with little energy and water to find some of these solutions and test them in reality, so that you have had a way of meeting with the partners and agree on the project and learn. Both the city of Copenhagen learns, but also the greater Copenhagen utility learns, so they have tested things before they implement it. So we are very lucky to have very strong interrelated partners that has a huge focus in reciprocity. We also had this existing model business model to build on top of, and we had a lot of nice buildings and stuff like that, and we had exhibition that was financed externally by funding. So we had something to come with as well, and that is, I believe, one of the reasons why we succeeded. And then to your question, what have we learned when we engage in new learning lab activities? We have first of all learned that when starting an activity, you have to focus on the problem, concrete problem, and also, to make it easy, take the perspective first from the users and say, okay, how would I ever get them involved in solving this? If you don't do that, it can become tricky. Then secondly, we have learned that we had to do rapid prototyping simply to find out, is the ideas we have, can we agree on that? And sometimes it is difficult. We have worked with some universities that are so much brain and so little action that we might have done something 2 years later, but that's not the way it works. So we have to find partners where we have where we create the same kind. First of all, we create trust, but second, we also create some kind of a common language. And then, of course, when this works, focus on what have mutual understanding, focus on and decide when you have done something which turns out to be a success, make sure that you know what to do with it, because my experience is that when you make big successes, then if you haven't thought about who is going to take the successes further, then it can be a problem as well. Did it make sense?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Do you have more of the presentation, or should we now?
Yeah, I have 2 slides. 2 slides more. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I suggest we go through the slides and then we go back to the questions and answers, because I believe the questions will revolve or evolve from the technology to the business model, etc., etc. So go ahead,
Perfect.
Please.
Perfect. Then, of course, as an educational and collaborative living lab, we have a huge focus on our network. We have a huge focus on making a sustainable business model of disseminating our findings as such. And this is our small things that we at least have learned from failing. And that is, you have to be honest about the ontology foundation of your living lab. We have had to stop partnership building partners with business partners that had only their own commercial gain and not the societal value in focus on one side, and on the other.
Is it only me that I'm not here, Jesper, or?
No, I think I don't know what happened to the connection.
All partners are
okay.
Okay.
Is it okay? Yeah. Make sure that all partners are involved in the activity. We have also had to stop working with partners simply because we had met partners that participated, but mainly participated not to make a successful solution. And then, of course, you have to stop that as well. Then we have to distribute sun and rain equally, because else you won't have a partnership in the longer run. And then you have to make sure that you have a procedure for how successes should live on. And now to the last our sustainable business model. Yours is going to look totally different. As far as I can see, you're mainly a research living lab, so it is a quite fundamentally different business model, I could imagine. But we have built our business model on the foundation that all our science center, our showroom, our collaboratorium, our knowledge center have to have their own sustainable business model. And then on top of that, we can sometimes have people coming to us and say, we have a problem here. It can be the municipality. It can be a problem that we see ourselves. It can be a problem that the utility company comes with. And then we can make some kind of a living lab activity on top of that. We can use the competences we have, and we can gain some financing from projects, research funds, or from external funding. We have actually gained quite a lot of money from donations as well. That was somehow the sustainable business model for energy and water.
I think we are missing to see the last slide, or maybe that's just me.
Which slide is that one?
No, just go one back.
Okay. Yeah, that one. And I'll return now.
Okay. From what I see, obviously, I have to reiterate my previous question. This is 20 years of experience of making successes and mistakes, etc., etc. But you mentioned at the beginning that you started with some smaller projects, individual projects that you then do that, and then you actually try to come up with some kind of synergy that could work for you and utilize everything that you had before. What happened before? So who was the initiator? Was it the water utility company that started the whole thing? Was it the Copenhagen municipality? Who was it? Who was it?
Was
at the very beginning.
At the very beginning, it was this strange combination, which is quite unique in the city of Copenhagen. This cross administration unit that was formed by two mayors, one from the administration of environment and one from the administration of education. And in reality, they said, well, we have to find a way to make sure that we can make educational partnerships with large companies and other actors in this area as such. So it started out there, but it had only to do with education at that time. But that was the thinking, and the history was that they were thinking they were sitting drinking snaps and agreeing that you are mayor for one area and I'm mayor for the other. Let's make a small unit, and then it was established in the beginning of 1999, and I was the first one to get in to get a job there.
So and you're actually a part of the municipality, right?
Yes, I am actually a part of the municipality, and my first task was to go and work with the largest utility company and build a partnership with them. And that partnership turned out to be energy and water. In the environmental educational services, we have partnerships with many other actors. We maybe have 6 or 7 science centers and a lot of other activities, but not at the same level as energy and water.
Okay, Balázs, please hold your thought. I have one more question that is really connected to the history. Was there, you know, a roadmap, or you mentioned some strategy, but the business strategy behind the Living Lab? How did you, you know, structure? I mean, those two guys sit down, drank a couple of schnapps and agree. But what was you know, what was your plan? Did you have some 5 years plan or something like this?
Not at that time. At that time, it was an idea to make partnerships, and then it just evolved. And then at a certain time, Living Labs became first the buzzword in the European Commission, and then it became the buzzword in Copenhagen. And then I honestly do believe that some poor civil servant in the city of Copenhagen looked around and say, do we have anything that looked just a bit like a Living Lab? And then they found this small place and used that to upscale it. And of course, from 2016, when we changed the name from Energy and Water to Energy and Water Greater Copenhagen Living Lab, we have had business plans for sure.
Okay.
And we have tried to be more professional, and we have got a vocabulary for what is a living lab, and we got a membership of the European membership of living labs in all. And we attended and made some speeches in Brussels and engaged in this thinking. But that is why I say that the bottom up and the top down actually met.
Yeah, Balázs, how much time do we have?
I think if we prolong it by 10 minutes, if it's fine for you, I don't know how occupied you are.
It's fine.
Okay, by 15. Thank you. So my question would be, I would jump a bit forward in your history, and I think it was the next step to involve the citizens and how it could be managed technically. I mean, you had to reach them, you had to, I guess, probably get their acceptance and engagement. And I don't know whether you have created some panels of citizens for different kind of investments to target them.
Yes, you asked the other participants in the conference the same question. And in reality, I would say that maybe you should divide your question into different questions, because what do you want with the citizens? Do you want to inform them? Do you want to enlighten them? Do you want to make them accept the transformation that you're part of? Do you want to involvement in and get the acceptance for local change? Do you want to make co-design with them, or do you want to empower them so that they can actually make their own solutions? You have to define the spectrum there. Where do you want to work on that axis? So that's one axe you have to ask. The other axe, I would say, is what is the scale of the problem? At the university where you made the presentation in the beginning, is it to make students to participate in local events and taking care of waste management? Of course, then it is empowering to do that. But is it the acceptance of getting higher taxes in Copenhagen due to the transformation of the city? Then it is more acceptance we are into. So you need, first of all, you need to find what do you want with the citizens? How do you want to involvement? And then you have to have different methods to do that.
Yeah, thank you. I think there are different levels, as you also mentioned. So promoting an investment or development is also a level, but it can be maybe managed in a more simple way, as we have some communication channels. But when we need citizens to be active and to take part in the co-creation process, I think that's maybe the tricky part. So my question intended to ask that, how you can involve them to co-creation, to motivate them.
To be very honest, and I'm really, really honest now, I hope it's not taken, recorded, but you can only get citizens to be really, really involved if it has to do with themselves directly. So you can move to the level of co-design and involvement, and maybe even empower them if it has to do with something just outside their door. But if it is general things, I think you have to have another ambition level. You might have to do workshops. You might have to, if we take Rasmus's very, very professional project, then we had a huge focus on both educating them, but also visualizing their area, so that they could, and also telling them where are the platform where you would actually have something to say, because honestly, the citizens do not have anything to say if they say we want a road bed on top of the different tubes in the ground. They won't get it because it's too expensive. So you also have to be honest with the citizens and show them where is the field where they can actually participate. I do believe that is really, really important. If you fake and tell them, oh, we can make a workshop here and you can put up small notes and you can do everything else and nothing happens, then you lose the engagement. Then it's better, and this is what we work from, it's better to be honest and say, okay, you have an influence in this area. Sorry.
Thank you.
We have a question from Ojo David Ayolua.
Yes, thank you. I'm joining as an employee of the University of Page, the Faculty of Engineering. I actually have a question about the GreenAURA project in itself. So as we've seen such an interesting project or an interesting living lab from the energy and water, in the scope of the GreenAURA project, how many living labs are going to be created or built? Because I see that it's a cooperation between the Croatian and so it's between Hungary and Croatia. So is there a plan to have one living lab in Page and also in sorry, I don't know the pronunciation of the Croatian city name, or is there going to be just one living lab, or how is that going to be taken, basically, is the question.
Okay, this is a question more for Balázs, but I would connect to this question and relate to Jesper, because we have a limited time, and I will definitely leave this question afterwards. Jesper, in the video clip that we have seen, your colleague mentioned Copenhagen is big enough for and small enough at the same time. What colleague Ogus was asking whether so these are two living labs. So my question would be, Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark, and you also mentioned there are some other living labs in the area, wider area of Copenhagen. We're talking about now city of Page, which is 150,000 inhabitants, or the wider area is, I don't know, Balázs would know how many inhabitants are we talking about, and Koprivnica is much smaller. Is there, do you see strengths or weaknesses in being small or being large? Of course, the resources are also something that we need to consider. And before I give to Balázs, maybe as you could give us some insight into the scalability and the size and the importance of size.
I think you can have living labs in many different sizes, as long as you have an area that is interconnected and you have an area, a wicked problem that you want to solve and have focus on, and you can have the right people involved. Then we have an island called Bornholm, and they are splendid at being a living lab for island utility and supply. They are really good at that, and people are coming from all over the world to see that, and also another one called Samsø. So you can have living labs in many sizes.
Balázs, the answer on the specific question, please.
Yeah, thank you. Reply for David. Yes, that's a good question. Actually, we are working together in this project all the time. We are planning together and creating concepts together. But as it was mentioned, that living labs has some territorial context and they are reflecting to local issues. It won't really make sense to create an official cross-border living lab. Probably technically won't be also possible. But we would like to make some cross connections and refer to each other's developments and researches. So for instance, in the exhibition area of the Hungarian project part, we will also introduce the improvements of Kobrilnica, and we will also provide some data to introduce our developments and research areas in Croatia. So in this sense, we will have a solid and hopefully permanent cooperation. But in organization terms, I think we should focus on local levels as well. So to answer your question, 2 living labs with symbiosis, I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we have some couple of minutes left. Another question for Jesper. How important, you said also in your second part of the presentation, we had some infrastructure in place, buildings in place, etc. How would you rate the importance of having this, let's say, solid infrastructure? And would you be able to compare the importance of the solid infrastructure versus, I don't know, people infrastructure?
I think you need both, but I don't think that you should underestimate the having a physical infrastructure and having a place where you can meet and also where you can have demonstration sites. And you can we see ourselves here as having a lot of demonstration sites where we can take the bus. We can tell a story here. We can take a bus to an electric bus to some of our climate adaptation living lab demo sites where we can go, and hopefully that is my dream. I will be able to take augmented reality in front of me on all the different demo sites, and then we can see what are we actually doing under the ground. All the places and not only one place. So I believe that having a physical infrastructure is extremely important. Having people and having a fundamental business model that can run in itself is extremely important as well. I think you need both.
Okay. One last question, okay, Balázs? It's not going to be, it's rather, can you share, let's say, the biggest mistake that you made and what would be, let's say, the biggest highlight within this 20 years, and then I will start with my questions. What can we avoid in our journey, let's say?
Be honest about your ontology, what you stand for, because I've met some that wanted to revolutionize the world first, before we could talk about collaboration, and others that wanted only to make money. We stand very firm on the decisions that have been made politically within the city of Copenhagen, and it is in that framework that we do our collaboration and education on top of. And if some companies say, okay, we can make a business here, let's make a toilet living lab here, where we can work together with some smart thinking, and we can measure if you pee on the side, and honestly, we have that. And then suddenly, when we have done this, they become very, very interested in only the money part of it. And then we have to say, okay, no, we agreed on this. We agreed on this is for the common good. It is for the society value. It is within this framework. And yes, we can work together, but it's not like that you can push us to become some kind of just a commercial hub for selling things. So,
okay.
So be true to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Balázs, I have so many questions, but obviously we don't have time. Thank you very much.
Hope that, I hope that we will be able to stay in touch for the future, as I think that a lot of other questions will arise. But yes, now our time is over, unfortunately. So I would like to say thank you for Jesper and your colleagues for letting us into your world for a bit more than an hour and explain the evolution of your organization. That was really very interesting. And thanks, Ivan, for taking the moderation and posing some very interesting questions. And I would like to also say thank you, of course, for the other speakers who are showing us their concept and their operation. It was quite interesting. And we would like to really stay in touch with also the Living Lab in Copenhagen, but we will also organize some other events, probably with other Living Labs, because that was an objective in our project. And we will send the invitation for all the participants of today's event. And there were some questions in the chat whether these conference materials will be available. And yes, the recording and the presentations of the event will be available on the project's website. So we will send you the link in a couple of days. So at the moment, I suggest to stay in touch, and we are open for all your suggestions regarding the exhibition part, the Living Lab part, and so this is a participative planning awareness raising project. We are really eager to have as many opinions as we can collect. So we encourage you to get in contact with us. And thank you very much once more for taking this time and joining our event. Thanks.
Thank you.
So have a nice day for everyone, and a great lunch and nice Easter period.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.